Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel. In today's video I'm going to share my upcoming projects and give you a very tiny peek into my stash. In episode 4 I talked about the projects I had in progress, and I'm happy to report that most of them have been completed. You can visit my blog to see more details about them. So it's time for me to start some new ones. And interestingly enough, in that same video, Austin was in the middle of the worst winter storm it's ever had in, over a century? And about a week later, spring arrived. That is Texas weather for you. So I'm focusing on warm weather outfits, especially for work, since we will be returning to the office in April, even though we are rotating, and I'll probably just be going in once a week for the time being. But I'd like to have some cute clothes because let's be real, we've all been living in our pajamas for the past year, haven't we? And if you haven't, well, good for you, because I have not had that discipline. So after a couple weeks of watching sewing videos, I realized I have a relatively small stash compared to some other YouTubers. I'm jealous of their thrifting and fabric hauls, but I want to be intentional about what I buy, and right now I'm committed to using what I have on hand and whittling down my stash before I start buying more yarn or fabric. Actually, I'm saving that up for when I get to travel again, because when we can travel again, I want to travel to places that I can and have yarn be my souvenir, so to speak, that kind of thing. Anyway, in my last blog post, I talked about making myself a bodice sloper and testing it. And I tested it on this dress that I'm wearing. And since I was making the dress, I found this yarn in my stash that matched. I didn't have a whole lot of it, but I figured I could probably get a short little cardigan out of it. And I did. And if you can see, let's see if I can show you the dress. Hopefully you got to see some of it. Didn't like a little strip tease there. And then my little cardigan here. But doing this got me thinking about creating outfits instead of individual pieces. So in this video, I'm going to focus on skirt outfits. Skirts are one of the easiest things to draft yourself and the perfect item to begin pattern making. I mean, if you look at the cost of patterns these days, yeah, the cheapest you can probably get them are for like $4.99, and those are the So Simple ones kind of things, or if you happen to catch them on sale. But a skirt is just so simple to do. There's no reason why you should be paying that kind of money for it. And to tell you the truth, I don't like pencil skirts. I don't like things that are constricting. I like to have a little flare, which is really the opposite of what I like in pants. But not that I like skinny jeans, but anyway. So the skirt patterns I like to make are like A-line, circle skirts, or gored skirts. And circle skirts eat up a lot of fabric. So for these particular projects, I chose gored skirts. Now, with a gored skirt, you can make as many gores as you want, the most common being 6 or 8 gores. On the dress that I'm wearing, I was hoping to make a circle skirt with it, but I did not have enough fabric. So I went with an 8 gored skirt. And they're so easy to draft. I'm telling you, you do not have to have a math degree. You do not have to have any kind of pattern making skills. All you need to know are just some simple math and know how to draw some straight lines. So you're going to need a ruler, a piece of paper that's large enough for the length of the skirt that you want. You can use gift wrap. You can use brown paper. that comes on those rolls. I bought a big roll of white paper. It's called, I think it was called poster paper or something like that. Banner paper, not poster paper. Maybe it was called banner paper. But, and I think I got it for 10 or 12 bucks, but it's a huge roll. So you don't need a lot of expensive materials, and the great thing is that at the end of it, you're going to have something that fits you perfectly. And I don't know about you, but I have had a lot of trouble with commercial patterns. They just don't fit me right out of the pattern envelope. So I would much rather make my own patterns. And it is so easy. Let me show you. I'm going to show you here. I drew this very simple diagram so that you can see this. If I can just get this off of here without disturbing everything. So this is the pattern for an 8 Gore skirt. Or you can, I also have the directions here for a 6 Gore skirt. So basically, all you need to do is you need to know your waist measurement. And what you want to do is take your waist measurement and add about 1 inch of ease, because you don't want it to be skin tight. You want to be able to have some maneuverability. You want it to be comfortable. So at your waist, you're probably going to want to find out what your waist measurement is and then add 1 inch ease. And you need to know your hip measurement, and you also need to know the depth from your waist to your hips. So how many inches is it from your waist to the widest part of your body? And that is what this measurement. So all you're going to be doing is, if you're making an 8 Gore skirt, you're going to be taking 1/16 of your waist measurement, and you're going to go down. I think I have an 8-inch depth between from my waist to my hips. And you're going to go down, and then you're going to do 1/16 of your hip measurement. Now, this measurement is really kind of variable depending on how much flare you want in your skirt, because in actuality, you want to make sure that your skirt accommodates your hips, right? But you can make it longer so you have more flare to it. And then you want to know how long you want your skirt to be. So I think for the skirt that I'm wearing, it's 25 inches. So this from A to C is 25 inches. And then all you're really doing is connecting the dots. And you're going to get a wedge that kind of looks like this. So you have 1/16 of your waist measurement. You take your ruler and oops, sorry about that. But you take your ruler and you're going to connect all those dots, and what you're going to get is this type of there. And when you do it on the fold, when you cut it out, and before you cut it out, you're going to add all your seam allowances to it. But when you cut it out, what you're going to get is this shape. See, when I made it, when I drafted it, I had my paper folded. And then when I cut it out, there's my skirt pattern. So to make the skirt, you would need to cut 8 of these. And if you'll notice, I also added a grain line on here so that you can match up your grain. And in the book that I was using, it had you kind of come up and put a curve in here for the waistline and also for the hemline. To tell you the truth, I ended up having to kind of cut those off because otherwise I kind of got this scalloped pattern. So you really don't need to do that. You're gonna, and then this is your pattern piece. And so now I have a pattern piece. I wrote on here that, you know, how long it was. Oh, I actually made this 27 inches. I wonder if I did that or if I was just thinking about I don't know. I'll have to measure it. But I put on here that this is an 8 Gore skirt. You need to cut 8. It's for a 27-inch waist. And so there you go. It's that easy. And then you just cut them out and sew them together, insert your zipper, and you have a, and a waistband. But the waistband, the nice thing about that is the waistband doesn't need to be anything fancy either. It's just a rectangular piece. From my waistbands, I always make them 2 inches wide by 29 inches long. And I just make it a rectangle. Oh, I'm making so much noise here with this, aren't I? Let's put this down. So my waistband is really just a rectangular piece of fabric, 2 inches by my waist. And I added 2 inches to my waist measurement to accommodate if I want to have any kind of button or hook and eye closure above the zipper. And you don't even have to add in a waistline. You can just do bias binding at the waist and not really have a waistband. So, they're just so easy. I just highly recommend that you just do it yourself. You will be so pleased. And as I said before, you can make them as flared as you want. I happen to use, on mine, I used 1/16 of my hip measurement, and then I added 1/4 of an inch. But if you wanted this to flare more, you can make this even wider. You can go out to here and have it flare out here. And just depending on how much flare you want. I mean, it's so easy. So the first fabric in my stash, I have all sorts of stuff over here. The first fabric that I pulled from my stash that I am going to make a 6-cord or 8-cord skirt from is this leafy print. It is kind of a weird olivey grayish color with black and white little dotted leaves on it. I don't know if you can see that. And it's, I assume it's a polyester or rayon kind of blend. I did not buy this fabric. It was gifted to me. And it just so happens that I have exactly enough yardage to do an 8-gore skirt with it. And so I thought I would do that. And I happen to have made 2 sweaters last year that will go perfectly with it. So this will complete an outfit that I already have. So first I have this top-down crochet cardigan that I made last year. I adapted it from a Sildar pattern. So, and I just thought, yeah, that works. So that would be a cute combination for that. I just need to get a little cami or something to wear underneath that. And then the other sweater that I made is this one, which is a variation on a sweater bag pattern. All of these knits that I'm showing you, well, most of them are from last year's Knit a Sweater Month challenge. And if you want to learn more about the sweaters, you can go to my blog to see how I did them and what patterns I used and everything. But I think that just would look very nice together. And this is a cotton fabric, so I think it will work perfectly in summer because usually in Austin they blast the air conditioning. So you kind of want to have something that's warm. So that's going to be my first project with this, and I'm very excited about all of that. Now my next project is with this yummy fabric. I don't know if you can see that it kind of has an iridescence to it. Now, I did buy this fabric. I bought it a long time ago. It's been sitting in my stash for a while because I haven't known what to do with it. And it is just yummy. And it just so happens that I have enough of it to make a 6-gore skirt. So that's what I will, not 6, I keep saying 6, but it's an 8-gore skirt. That is an 8-gore skirt pattern, and I'm making 8-gore skirts. But I have enough of this to make an 8-gore skirt. And it just so happens that last year I made this sweater, which I think I was wearing in my last video. But how yummy will those be together? What a cute summer outfit. I think those will be really nice. So I'm looking forward to that. And you know, the great thing about these skirts is that I have 3 of them here that I'm going to show you, or 3 planned skirts. And I could probably make all of these in a Saturday. Boom, 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 you know, knock them out, cut them all out, sew them all up, put in the zippers, do all that stuff all at once. And I could easily, if I spent a dedicated day doing them, have them all done. They're just that easy. They don't require a lot of work. You know, the most that that you have to do with them is all the ironing, because you have to make sure that and the hand stitching, the hems are going to be the longest part on these. But I also have another yarn in my stash, which is this. And I'm debating it because I'm not sure. Like right now, it looks like it could go together. And this is a Barocco denim silk. They don't make it anymore. And I don't have a lot of this color. I made a jacket out of it, a very, very cute jacket. But the problem was, it was big on me. And I had just decided I wasn't going to hang on to things that didn't fit me correctly. And this is a weird yarn because I do believe, because it's called denim silk, that it is made out of denim. Oh, this is interesting. It's 20% silk and 80% rayon. I'd assumed that with a name like denim silk, it would have been made out of denim, like recycled denim or something like that. But the interesting thing about this is it has a really nice drape to it, and it feels really nice, but when it's wet, it's like cardboard. It's very weird. But I think that with this, I can make I think I have enough to make either a summer shell. I don't know if I have enough to make like a short sleeve pullover, but I think I might have enough to make maybe a sleeveless shell, or just a sleeveless kind of loose blousey lace top. I have a couple of ideas in my head that I've been playing around with that one. So yeah, like with that, there's 1, 2, 4 outfits already that I would have if I just sewed up these skirts. The final one that I'm going to show you today, oh, I love this fabric. I love, 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 love this fabric. It's so pretty. And it is, I got it at Joann's. And let's see if I can find somewhere in the salvage. Design improved every day for Joann's. It doesn't give a fiber content, but I'm sure it's probably just a polyester. And I had made another skirt out of this. It was a really cute high-low skirt, and it took me forever to draft the pattern. I was using one of the patterns in Helen Joseph Armstrong's pattern making books. And it was such a wonderful skirt. The problem was, it was too big on me. And I know, shame on me for drafting something that was too big on me, but I think what happened is that, I don't know, I think as a runner, my body just keeps getting more toned, and I don't know. Or else I added in too much ease to it, which could have been another problem. So it didn't sit on my waist properly, and it was twisting around. What I've realized with my skirts is that I only need an inch ease. I don't need anything else. And it will sit at my hips, sit at my waist, and it will be fine. But for this one, I actually also have enough of it to draft an 8-cord skirt. And this is a cute little summer shell. My gosh, I got threads hanging all over the place. This is a cute little summer shell that you may have seen in the background in some of my videos that I made several years ago. And this is cotton, and it's made out of thrifted yarn. I unraveled a women's sweater. I just love the color. And look at how cute that would be together. Cute little, and I have a pair, oh, I just remembered I have a pair of pink flip-flops that are this color too, that have little flowers on them. Oh, that would be so cute all together. Yes. So I would have this. Here's another summer top. And even though this is sleeveless, I could still wear it to the office because I could just bring, I have a denim jacket, which would bring a little more casual feel to it. But I could still wear it in the office. Normally, I don't like to wear sleeveless things in the office, mainly because it's just cold. They set the air conditioner really high. But I have other fabric for this. So I have this luster sheen, which I don't think Red Heart makes anymore, but this cardigan, the first one that I showed you here, this is made from this Red Heart's luster sheen. And crochet creates a stiffer fabric, but as you can see, it does have a nice little kind of shine to it. And this gives you an idea more of the pattern that's on this jacket cardigan. But so this is the same yarn, but in this yummy red color. So I think that would go really nice with it. And then I also have this gray, which I think just adds a little bit more subdued color with it. And I've been playing around with some sweater ideas, and it's interesting because I went down a rabbit hole this morning of 1940s and 1950s vintage knitting patterns. And I think the 70s might have been heavily influenced by the 50s or 40s, because a lot of the sleeves in that era have these exaggerated, this exaggerated line. They're either all gathered up over here or they kind of stick out. I mean, they must have had shoulder pads in their sweaters or whatever to get the sleeve to stick out more like that. But I'm not sure which yarn is going to be for which silhouette, but I have two different silhouettes drafted. One is this one, which is, I mean, it's classic 1940s, 1950s kind of sweater girl, although I am dropping my neckline down a bit more. In the 1940s, looking at the sweater patterns, all of them were very high on the neck, like my dress is here. But I would scoop it down lower, maybe add a little eyelet trim around the neckline kind of thing. I'd like to make little poofy sleeves, have a little short sleeve, and then have a nice big rib at the waist. So I'm not sure which yarn I want to do that one with. I guess I'll play around and it will depend on what kind of stitch pattern, because I think that this design would look really cute in a lace. And then the other design that I have in mind to go with this fabric is more of a dolman kind of kimono top. I really like silhouettes to have to play on proportions. So either if I'm going to be wearing a full skirt, then I want my top to be more fitted. If I'm going to be wearing slim jeans, I do not wear skinny jeans. Those do not work with my figure at all. But a straight leg or a kind of cigarette pant cut does work really nice. I really like that style. And if I'm going to be having something more fitted on the bottom, then I like playing around with volume on the top. So I'm thinking that for the other sweater, like I said, I don't know which yarn I'm going to use for which. I'm going to have to play around and see. And then I want to do more of a kimono sleeve. I may do some sort of patterning that runs all across the sleeve and the front of the chest, something like that. And again, I like having a thick waistband to cinch in at my waist. I'm not a really curvy gal, but my waist is thin, or I do have a small waist. So I like making sure that I play that up so that I have some illusion of curves to my body. Also, an interesting thing is that sweaters have different lengths depending on what I'm going to wear them with. I like my skirts to sit at my waist, and therefore any sweater that I would wear with my skirt, I would want it to sit at my waist also. And I'm short-waisted, so I wouldn't need a whole lot of side seam here to make a sweater to go with my skirt. On the other hand, if I'm going to be wearing my sweater with jeans, it has to be longer, because none of my jeans are high-waisted, so none of them sit at my waist, which means there is a couple of inches from my jean waistband to my natural waistline. And I don't want to be wearing a top with my jeans that ends at my waist and then have all that skin showing. It's not that I'm a prude or anything like that. It's just, I just find that very uncomfortable. I don't want my stomach hanging out, and I just would feel more comfortable if I had a longer sweater that went past the waistband on my jeans. So this is an interesting little side note that I learned as I was thinking about these projects. Anyway, that is what I have planned, and hopefully in the next week I should have no problem in getting all of that done. So I'm really excited that my wardrobe is going to be, just by adding these 3 skirts, is going to be growing the possibilities exponentially, and I'm very excited about that. So please share what your favorite combination was in the comments, and also any ideas that you may have for these 2 sweaters that I'm going to make for this fabric. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And if you want to follow me on my journey, hit the subscribe and bell to receive notifications when a new video is up. I usually post weekly, and you can also follow along on my blog. The link is down below. Happy destashing, everybody, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.